adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
You know you're safer in the moonlight. You've got it now, don't try to think twice. The shadows dancing in the street lights. Purple is dying on my insides. Baby, it's time.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, right here in hometown West Palm Beach, where I'm starting the Pipeman Radio tour today with probably the best show on the whole tour, the Dollyrots at one of my favorite venues, Respectable Street. Oh my God, this is the greatest venue. You guys have never played here, right?
No, and I walked in and I thought, oh my God, this place is awesome.
Isn't it,
Yeah.
though? And what you're missing this time, okay, and I have a funny story for you, but in the back, there's another area, but it's under construction right now. Like, the floor is all brick, and there's a bar, and that's where, like, the hardcore punk bands play. So you'll have a band playing on the stage you play on, and then there'll be a band playing back there, and it gets pretty hairy. So my engineer, who runs my Louisiana studio, she came into town, and I'm like, I'm going to bring you to one of my favorite venues. We were just talking about it on my show the other day because I was talking about I was going to be here to cover you guys, and oh my God, it was so funny. She was so scared, like, because she had never been to like a real punk rock
hardcore show.
Yeah, and it was brick floor, and like you're in this little area, and she's like, and you went up to a bar and somebody punched.
Sounds like fun.
Right? Oh my God, this is a great place to play. I mean, and it is like a cool vibe down there, right?
It feels awesome. And the staff has been super cool. That's always important.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Because I don't know if I should say this live, but the Fort Lauderdale venues, I don't like so much.
Well, how many times have the Dollyrots been down here?
Yeah.
Twice?
Well,
3
there you
times?
go.
I don't know.
I don't know. But now that we found this spot, I mean, we might come back.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because you're not the only band. Like, we've lost radio stations here, like, because nobody wants to play here.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the problem is the drive is, you know, you got to go
always
all the
say
way
that.
down Florida and then all the way back up, and there aren't really enough cities to make it make sense sometimes.
Exactly.
And days on a tour.
Exactly. And I think people don't realize that because it is true. Like, I don't even, like, on a regular basis want to drive through the state of Florida, much less you're on tour and you got to waste like 3 days going down and going back up.
Yeah, I mean, it's long.
Yeah, totally. But it's worth it that you're here to find Respectable Street because by far the best venue in all of South Florida.
Yeah, we're stoked.
So tell us a little bit about, you know, this tour you're on, music. I was so excited when I saw you did that cool cover song, the newest song you have out now, that Auld Lang Syne.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I listen, I'm like, that's a great version of that song. Like, they should play that at Times Square.
Yeah, well, I never really liked that song. We have a Christmas album, and every year we do at least 1 or 2 Christmas songs. And we've done Turkey Trot, and so I was like, why don't we try something different? So, New Year's.
It's like, there are only so many Christmas songs, right?
Right.
And so you just kind of, you have to, like, you end up running out of quality Christmas songs. And so it was like, well, what if we just did, like, a New Year's song? You know, like, next year it'll probably be, like, I don't know, like a dreidel song or something. I have no idea.
I love it because I'm a Jew. Like, do like Hava Nagila or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you just kind of have to get creative because like we have this like concept of this ever expanding Christmas album, and every year we just do another one, and eventually it'll just be like a 30 song like triple album.
You know, you could just do an album that is like every holiday of the year. like all on one
That's a
album.
good idea. Like a calendar. It could come with a calendar.
What? No, now you're getting too like conceptual. Like a comic book and stuff.
A photo shoot for every month.
Short film. No, it's like it's good to have holiday songs though. You know,
It is.
It's good to have something
do have
on
Valentine's Day.
We have Valentine's Day. We got some Halloween
Buried
songs.
in Ireland.
So
Irish goodbye.
yeah, so it's good to have that sort of thing though, because you never know. There might be like I don't know, like a show or something that needs a band to be on,
Right.
You know, their Valentine's show, or you know what I mean. So
And you know,
We have
it's
done Halloween songs too.
oh, that's cool. And you know what's funny about the Valentine song? Because I'm both a metalhead and a punk, and I think the punk ones are the positive ones, the metal ones are the depressing ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, it's better off having songs from you guys for Valentine's Day. So,
It
'Cause
is
you
about
guys
Valentine's Day breaking hearts, but then I kick ass. So
because you guys like met in like 8th grade, right?
we did.
You're like
yeah, I mean, we're like severe childhood sweetheart situation.
you're like the
We're
fairy
like
tale.
terminal childhood sweetheart. You know,
Right?
But yeah, we met. I was 12, you know, and she was 13, and yeah, I kind of just chased her until
Nice.
senior year of high school, and then she finally like went out with me. But
I asked him to the homecoming dance.
Whoa.
these are all true stories. Like, I mean, she was like she was the prom queen, and she finally went out with me. I mean, this is all true. And so then, yeah, we were in Florida, and we ended up moving to Sarasota for college. So like we spent like 4 years in Sarasota, and then we were like, let's move to LA. So that's how this all started. You know.
Nice. And so, what is it that finally that broke you down? That he after chasing all that time.
I don't know. I mean, I always liked him, but I wanted to be sure because I think I knew that I really liked him, and
Right.
it was scary because you know, like 15, 16, that I'm 17 years old, and it's like, well, what if this is it? You know,
Right.
like it was kind of scary.
Like, what if I'm stuck with this weirdo for the rest of my life? Think of that bleak future.
But we were kids, you know, and I don't know. I felt like it would be forever, and so.
What do your parents think now? Because I'll bet both your parents were trying like, oh, they got to try to talk you out of it.
You know what's wild? Our families were like, yeah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, they all, my grandparents, everybody, I think they saw us together and they're like, you know what? This really seems okay.
They were smart because, you know, the ones that don't do that is when you go and off and do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we just ended up we did all the stupid shit together.
See?
Well, but you know, and that's how you grow together. You make mistakes, and you know, you kind of have to have those like misadventures or whatever. And just by being in a punk band, we had plenty of them, and so
Right.
we definitely got to grow together. And so and doing this together also meant that we had to like stick it out. You know, because if one of us quit, then you're done.
Right?
Well,
Exactly.
and now it's like our job. So,
Right?
I mean, we've got to keep going and stay together. And
Exactly.
we have kids. So
Right?
it's like a whole thing now.
Yeah.
You even like did an album pregnant, right?
Yeah. No.
I've toured pregnant, like all of it.
You know what they say though? They say that like pregnant women's voices are more appealing.
Yeah.
And there might be something about the hormone surge, but there might be
sense.
something to that. You know?
Also ovulating women.
Oh, okay. Only record when you're ovulating.
I have thought about it. Like, oh, everybody really likes that song. I wonder if I was fertile.
Right?
You know, that was a new adventure when it happened too. But it was like, all right, let's just figure it out. I mean, there would be times where she was like, you know, so hot, and we're in LA, and we don't have air conditioning, and it's the middle of the summer, and she's pregnant, and she's laying on the bed with the microphone singing the song, but we did it. You know, like you pull it out, and
Nice.
if you really love your art, like you will just continue.
That's the
no
key
matter what.
right there.
And your partner.
So funny, I've been gone for several months. The last show I was at Respectables was Susie Moon, who she's a good friend of mine now. Okay, so I'm going to do punk rock bowling in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I met her at punk rock bowling because I interviewed her at punk rock bowling, and I interviewed him when he was in another band.
Oh, how
And they
cute.
met that day.
Oh my God.
Like I was there. They'll tell you I was like there from the beginning, you know. And then now she just had a baby.
Yeah, they did. It's so cute too.
Yeah, they made a good looking baby.
Yeah, they did.
It's sweet, but that's kind of the thing with the punk community is it's so small that everyone knows everyone else, and if you don't know somebody personally, then you're like one order of magnitude away. You know, there's always, you know, it's 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon, but you're 1 degree from the punk rock person in the scene.
No doubt.
You know?
And you know what's cool? Why I like talking about this is what a lot of people don't know that I've always known is the punk scene is like a family.
It really is.
Okay, and people think about. I'm sure there's people that thought about with you guys like, oh, what are they doing having kids being punk rockers, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the more reason because there's that family and there's inclusivity too. You know, like we're all the outsiders, so we're all inside here.
Exactly.
You know, our kids, they just acquiesce to what we do, you know, and so they tour with us and they understand.
Not tonight though, because they've already missed a good chunk of school, so they're with my mom and they have to go to school tomorrow.
They're sitting this one out. Otherwise, they would have already chimed in.
Nice.
But they're part of that family now too. They grew up in it. They've got like aunts and uncles, quote unquote, in other bands. Like a lot of the people that are part of their life are parts of, you know, other bands, and like it's cool because if anything, it just strengthens your bond when your kid is calling the girl in the band that you played with a bunch like his aunt, you know, like that's cool. It means you're truly family.
Totally. 100%.
And it means our kids have family everywhere. So
Right.
yeah, they're never alone. If they need anything anywhere they go, we can call somebody.
So when you guys started this whole thing, you guys had different plans.
Yeah.
And now that you're here and we're talking about that kind of stuff, do you think back to those times like, thank God I made this decision?
Yeah. The craziest decision like we ever made was like, we're going to put off. I mean, he was going to med school. He already took his MCAT exams. I was supposed to take my GRE exam. And the night before I was like, no, like going to do the band for 1 year. Just 1 year. We'll go to California and see what happens.
I love that.
And it was terrifying.
See, like I don't know. There was some discussion I saw on Reddit recently or something, and somebody was considering like, "Hey, I really want to pursue my art. Should I go to LA or whatever?" And I chimed in, and I was like, "Yeah, you should.
Right?
If you really believe in what you do, you should drop everything and go. Like that's what you should do." And granted, we had each other, so it's easier for us. But the truth is, if you really want something, you got to go for it, right?
No doubt.
And I said that. And everyone piled on me. It was like, why would you suggest that? That's so not responsible to...
You got your whole life to be responsible,
I was
like,
The worst thing that happens is you have to like save up and ride a bus back home.
right?
I mean-
that's the time to take the chance. That's the time to take the shot, you know?
I mean, okay, there are worse things that could happen. But if you've got your head on straight and you're serious about your art and you really want to work on it, then I think you should do it.
Like, our thing was like, look, we're not smoking pot until we sell 40,000 records.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there was nothing. It was like, we're going to be pretty much straight edge because we're moving there to work.
What's so funny about that is I'm from the 80s Sunset Strip scene, okay? And, like, it's the exact opposite. Like, I was at, like, the party when Vince Neil left with Razzle, you know?
Oh, boy.
I was at all that kind of stuff, and it's like, I think of bands nowadays, like you said, straight edge. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that would have been a lot smarter back then.
Well, we knew if we moved to LA, there would be temptations, and we knew that the more the band grew, the more potentially we could be enticed with, and so we just said a hard no, you know. And I think it helped our marriage for sure. I mean, we still drank, but you know, everything else was a no.
I mean, that's amazing too, because that is the land of temptation. You know,
It truly was. Like, for reals. I mean, it wasn't. That's not just like a movie depiction. That's like,
No.
I mean, this is actually you end up places and you play shows and you end up in places after shows, and it's a huge
I've
music
been
scene
there.
and a big city full of misadventure, dude. I mean,
there was this one place called Motel Hell. It used to be Motel Hello, and the O was not lit anymore. And that was the punk rock where all the punk rockers that ran away from home, that's where we were all living.
Yep. Yeah.
I think surviving those sorts of things helps you, gives you resiliency and helps you endure, though.
Oh,
especially
no doubt.
once you get out on the road, you need that.
Oh,
you need that
100%.
strength, you know. So LA really prepared us in a lot of ways to be able to, be in any environment and be able to feel like, okay, I can do this, you know.
That's pretty cool to hear because it's true. Like my daughter, she'll sometimes go to festivals with me, and after half a day of a 4-day festival, she's like, Dad, I don't know how you do this every weekend. I'm done already.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how I don't. You know?
Yeah. It's like, well, that's what I do. I like
Right?
it.
Right?
I have to do it.
You come home and you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I kind of seclude when I get home. I don't even leave my place.
That happens to us too. We just, it's a post-tour depression. Like you
Yeah.
get home and you know it's going to hit you. After a day or two, you're like, oh man, and it's like an anti-endorphin rush.
Right?
You know, you're just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, you know. But it's for real, because it's such a rush to be on stage. It's such a rush to see live music. It's such a rush to be a part of that. Like, there's no way to explain watching rock and roll.
Oh, listen. When we were on that lockdown, I was going, I don't care if a kid gets up on stage with a recorder, and if it's a live show, I'm going. And I was just in Costa Rica, and there was this band playing. A dude was playing the kazoo during the chorus.
Awesome.
And I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever. You know?
Yeah.
Music. We need it, man. We needed it during that time. I think that's why everybody got so angry and, upset and depressed and no live music. That's the best therapy there is.
Yeah. We were doing online shows every Sunday. I think, how many did we do?
We did 12 or something.
It was 12
How
weeks in a
hard
row.
was that, by the way? Because
It
it's
was so
weird,
hard.
right?
Yeah. I mean, we had been doing these shows every couple months already. So we were kind of used to it. But we were home with 2 tiny kids, a toddler that maybe would cooperate, maybe wouldn't.
Right.
We had gotten COVID chickens. We had baby chickens. The kids would bring them in. It was pure chaos.
Why did we get a puppy, dude?
Well, because now he's a dog, and when we go on tour, it's easier.
But yeah, during that time, we did it the first couple times because it was all right, we got to perform, we got to do something, just for kind of ourselves. And then we started seeing people were depending on this a little bit.
I need Sunday to come sooner.
I know,
I'm so
right?
glad you're going to help. Sunday is the day I look forward to. Now it's oh crap, we can't quit.
So we just kept doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And in the end, it was all right, we need a break.
Right?
It is a lot.
It's a lot, too, because at least when you're up on stage with a crowd, you feed off the crowd, and there's energy,
Yeah.
and there's this whole... I can't see getting like that in a live stream. It's no different than, for me, I'd rather do an interview like this than when I do phoners.
Yeah.
Because it's a different type of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'd only do acoustic because there were people doing full band things all the time, and I could I don't think I could do that very well. It'll feel strange.
Those, even with the best production, I never felt truly engaged with it,
Right.
But the acoustic thing, it's if your songs are good, they should translate, you know. And online, it's the format best for that is acoustic for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's all about just being expressive. It's not about trying to wow people with production or with loudness, It's
We were literally on our couch with children yelling and chickens flapping.
That's great.
Looking back on it, though, it was pretty fun.
Right?
It was
And they're all on YouTube. Somebody kept uploading them.
Really?
So, yeah.
You can see just our dissension into
That'll be your legacy.
lunacy. Yeah. When people look back on that, that'll be the most important thing, Yeah.
So now, in your whole career, can you remember one show in particular that's your favorite that you've done?
I would
that's
usually say
hard.
no, but one just flew into my head, and it's definitely in the tops. We were on Blackheart Records, and we played Pier something, one of the big piers. They had this summer concert series, and so we opened for Joan Jett.
Yeah, it was Pier 41 or Pier 50 in New York City. So
Oh, okay.
on the Hudson side, They have. Like,
I know what
you
you're
know,
talking
yeah,
about.
It's like a pier.
I think it's Pier 52 or 6 or
yeah,
something.
like that. And so it was like, hey, do you want to open for Joan Jett at this outdoor show on this pier on the river in New York City? And, you know, Joan Jett is the queen of New York City. It was
Right?
like, holy moly. Like, yeah. The best part about
Well, there are multiple best parts here. What's your best part?
The best part about it was being backstage after playing the show. It rained, so everything was like, you know, everyone was soaked, and there was lightning, and we're playing and whatever. And then after the show, you had to get a staple removed from your head.
I had 3 staples in my head from a show the week prior.
Wow.
Also with Joan Jett.
That's punk rock.
Well, we had played this fair, whatever. Long story short, I split my head open because they set up the stage on a horse track, and they took out part of the pipe on the inside.
Oh.
And I went under the stage and up, and I went and just split my head open. So
Whoa.
my mom was taking out my staples backstage while my cousins are trying to talk to Joan Jett.
No, after, like, when you cut your head open, you immediately, like, came up like this, and it was, like, gushing blood. Because, you know, when you cut your head, like, it just goes it's like Andrew WK, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's, like, running back to the trailer, to the backstage, right as, like, Joan and the Blackhearts are, like, walking towards the stage, and they're like, what happened to you? She's just, like, covered in blood. Like,
I'm fine. Really, I'm fine.
I'm fine, Joni. I'm fine. Yeah.
It was silly.
Oh, my God.
I had a
that's-
great set, Joan. Like,
It was awesome. Don't worry.
yeah.
Yeah, but my parents were in New York, and just seeing my dad in New York City. I was born in New Jersey, and so my
Where?
dad lived in the city.
So I'm a
in
Jersey
Teaneck,
boy. Nice.
Bergen County.
Yes,
And-
I know it well.
And so, that was really cool. And then, gosh, my Uncle Joey was a whole bunch of my family came, and so it was really cool.
Yeah, oh my God, that is like an amazing story
Yeah.
because
Wait, and
that is so punk rock.
it
right
was
there.
it was raining, there was lightning, and a dog showed up on stage. You remember that?
I don't think
A big weird dog.
Maybe it was like a werewolf.
I don't know.
I know, right?
That also made it strange. Yeah.
Oh my God. So, if you were to pick a moment that would, when are you
What time
done?
do we play?
9:45.
Oh, not 8:45. I had a slight heart attack.
Oh, that would be bad.
All good. Yeah.
Although,
I need the look. It's hard to tell what hour it's on.
I know, right?
We're looking at my watch, and it's just a little,
So funny story having to do with that. Like I interviewed Waddy from The Exploited like right before he went on stage. I said to him, "We need to end the interview. You need to go on stage." And I got him all pumped up that he started yelling at the crowd.
Oh, geez.
I was like, "So," my last question to him was, "So, Waddy, what do you think about pop punk?" He went off. I knew he would
I bet
too.
he had things to say.
Oh, I got him started. And they got up on stage. He's like, punk, that's not punk. And he's like, it was great.
That's awesome.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird about pop punk is like the definition of it has changed so much in the last 10 years that like to me it was like, oh, okay, right, it's like the Gilman Street thing or
Buzzcocks.
Well, yeah, Buzzcocks were like the originators, right? For sure. You could argue like Ramones, whatever, and then the Donnas inspired us to like being a band, and then you discover other stuff like Dickie Corvette, yeah. But the definition of it has changed so much.
I know,
that's
right?
Not what it is.
Then it turned into Warped Tour Screamo. It's
Right?
called pop punk now, and I'm so confused.
I know, it's weird, right?
But now it's like this non-genre sort of blend of like lots of musical elements, but it leans so much more towards like indie, like pop.
And then the old school pop punk, they're kind of transforming more to being heavier and faster. Like they don't want to be that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a reaction. And so like when we define our music, it's like I just say it's bubblegum punk because that's
I like that. That's a
because
cool.
it's not pop punk.
Or melodic punk. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it sometimes. It sounds so nerdy.
It sounds like melodic hardcore or something like that. You know what I mean? Like bubblegum punk, that's our genre.
I love that.
So-
So, funny thing happened too downstairs. So, we're at your merch table, and she's looking at that shirt
Oh,
right
yeah.
there. And she comes up to me and she's like, would it be wrong to get that shirt? Because it's like Nirvana. Would it be wrong? I'm like, no, it's not the same exact thing. Like if you were doing the same exact, and I'm like, why don't you ask him? I told her to ask your tour manager.
No, well,
and then he told her like the whole meaning behind why the shirt is. So you can tell the listener.
No, it's like I learned how to play guitar playing along to Nirvana. Like Nirvana is my favorite band of all time, hands down. It was the perfect place at the perfect time for 14-year-old. I just got a guitar for my birthday,
right?
You know, and the songs are easy to play, and it's perfect teenage angst. Like I just want to be in my dark room playing along to Nirvana and just feeling like.
You know what's cool about Nirvana? Like, so I was a total thrash metalhead. So the whole grunge scene should have been hated by my people because grunge killed metal for that period of time.
Yeah.
But I freaking loved Nirvana. And Kurt Cobain, like, I'm still bummed he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you wonder what, you know, he would have been doing, obviously. But, having it cut short, I feel like it makes it even more meaningful, even though it, obviously, the circumstances. And it's strange how there's just, like, this resurgence of, like, deifying Kurt Cobain by, like, 18-year-olds or whatever, if Gen Z or what's Gen Alpha?
Yeah.
There's like an undercurrent of people that literally think it's a clothing brand. Like, for real.
No, really?
Like the Misfits.
It's a real thing. And so, yeah, for us, it was like, let's make a Nirvana parody shirt because, like, there's a long-standing tradition of punk bands doing parody shirts.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So
of course. That's why it's
We've
not
got
wrong.
a Dodger shirt. We got a Coca-Cola shirt. We got all sorts of shirts.
Yeah, parody shirts are like, I mean, they're kind of like part of your thing, part of our thing.
Well,
If you get a cease and desist, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I know, exactly. That's punk, man. And the parody thing, that is it's always been a normal thing.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's kind of how you start off because you don't really know what you're doing yet.
Yeah, you got to learn somehow.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I like the advice that I give to young musicians when they're like, how do you learn how to play it? I'm like, play along to the stuff that you love. Like,
Right.
if you play along, you will eventually synthesize that through yourself. And that's how you find your voice. It's by taking what you love, making it part of you, and then spitting it back out. Not like a direct facsimile, but it's just an element of what by the time it gets filtered through you, it's something new.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And that's okay.
And that's the best way to learn is to just do it. And you can't, when it comes to music, you can't play music that you don't like. Like,
No.
Yeah, and you also can't, like, there's nothing original, really.
No.
You know, every song's already been written, you know, and so it's about how you express it.
yeah,
So if you do
That's a
that
great point.
genuinely, then it's okay, you know?
that's a great point. So let's tell everybody how they can connect to you guys on socials, on the web, check out all your stuff, and buy your merch because you have like some of the most badass merch.
And it gets shipped right from our house.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're totally DIY with the merch. We don't use an outside company or whatever. I mean, we design a lot of it, and the stuff that we don't like draw or make, we try to conceptualize it. We don't and then have somebody who's artistic and talented make the idea come to life.
Right.
But yeah, we don't put a call out to artists and just have people send in ideas or whatever. We try to express ourselves through the merch for sure.
Nice.
But all of it's at dollyrots.com. And all the socials are at Dollyrots.
The Dollyrots.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I said it wrong.
Yeah, it's just like, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It's just the Dollyrots or the Dollyrots. I think somebody stole the Dollyrots on TikTok or took it
Yeah.
before we got it, so it's the Dollyrots
That might have
official.
been me.
What do you mean that might have been you?
I did that.
You've been holding on. You've been hard.
She's the secret
Oh, no,
weapon
I'm
that.
sorry. I think I parked it when it first started.
Oh my
God! You did.
I gotta look.
You parked the TikTok.
I think
Oh,
I
my
did
God.
because,
Say anything.
well, you never asked me.
But you know. Oh my God.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
Well, at least we made that discovery today.
I
See,
think
I
I might
love
be
this
wrong.
too. This proves something because any other couple or band members that this would happen, you would see the daggers in the eyes, and you guys just have like the greatest smile going on.
It's so
I know.
funny.
When I was married, I would have probably gotten my ass beat for that.
I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
We've been posting on the wrong TikTok for like the last 2
Oh my
years.
God.
That's okay. TikTok sucks. Oh, damn. Oh, if people are awake really early, I'm also on the radio 5 days a week.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm on Sirius XM 21.
Nice.
It's Little Steven's Underground Garage. I'm on 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Nice.
So
Anything else they should check out?
If we're going on tour this summer, we're doing the West Coast and the East Coast. We're playing like, I don't know, 28 shows or something. So
Wow.
catch us in a city near you. And we're going to some places we don't normally go to.
Nice.
You know, in the Southeast U.S. and stuff. And so, yeah, we're always posting tour dates. We try to stay active.
And if you come to a show, stick around and say hi, because we always hang out and say hi, sign your babies, sign your boobs, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
See, that's what's so
Yeah.
punk, too. Like, it's like, even, dare I say it, because I'm a metalhead, too, but sometimes the metal bands aren't that way. They're, like, very, gatekeeper bullshit.
I don't hang out before the shows because then I'll have like no voice and I'll be tired and I have to like
And you
I
gotta
get
get
really
in the
nervous.
zone.
Yeah, I
You
have to
gotta get
like
in the
get
zone.
in my brain.
But it's like you can like taking the show seriously or taking the music seriously is one thing, but like taking yourself seriously is kind of a dick move,
Right,
You
right.
know? And I feel like part of the cool thing about going to a show is feeling that connection. And so, what better way to connect than to be like, hey, high five, dude. Thanks
No
for
doubt.
coming out. Thanks for we're throwing a party every night, so thanks for coming to our party. That's the attitude.
I love it.
Yeah.
Way cool. So anybody that hasn't checked you guys out has to check you out because not only all this cool stuff, but your music is badass.
Yay.
And I can't wait for this show in a little while.
Right on.
That you almost missed or thought you did.
I was like, oh crap, we're playing in 5 minutes.
Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipe Man.
Right on. Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having
man.
us again.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipe Man on W4CY Radio.
Hey, I'm Kelly.
I'm Lewis.
We're the Dollyrots, and you're listening to the Pipe Man on W4CY Radio.